My brother had known him. He was a likeable man, Jack the Hat. Nothing sinister in it. When we get into the flat, we walk downstairs, and I hear the music, and the next thing that happens, all hell's let loose as we walk in there. And there's a lot of scuffling and shouting going on. And the next thing I remember was seeing Hart grab hold of Jack the Hat behind with his arms, pin him behind the back, and urging Reggie on, go on Reggie, do him. I turned around and walked out of the room. When I walked back in the room, I see Jack lying on the floor. He was dead. And that was the end of it. I mean, I like the man, let's get it right. He was a likeable type of a person. He was one of ours, or on them lines. But when Jack had a drink and that, he could be a bit of a nuisance. I mean, that's no excuse, don't get me wrong. And that should never happen to no one. How do I feel about it now? It should never happen, it should never got to that state of affairs. But it did. And I've paid the ultimate price, and I'll go on paying that price the rest of my life. But near the baby, it was all a bit jittery. But trying like hard to laugh it off, I suppose, like because you're thinking to yourself, now this is it. And I can't believe what I'm really seeing. There's hundreds of people milling about. There's photographers, everything. And we're driven down on this roundabout and up to the cells. All of a sudden I looked round, I saw 4 screws out of a PO. And he said, Ron, you wanted? And Ronnie looked at me and he went to me, there I go, Tony, the first man to get a 40-year recommendation. You got to give it to him because he had dignity. Didn't say a word, just spun round the Jill and marched down a corridor. And it seemed like hours, but it could only have been about 10 minutes. He was gone. And he came back down, the door opened, and Ronnie just stood there and lit up a play as though nothing had happened. And I think it was Charlie or Reggie who said to him, oh, what did you get? He went, oh, 30 years. Think back in your life, think back 15 years ago and you get an idea of what I'm saying. What's happened to you? How far you come on? So when people say that, I don't think they really realise what they're saying. It's a hell of a long time. The Scrubs in particular, I mean, I can remember looking out onto Wormwood Scrubs itself in the summer. I could just see through my window. I had a mirror I'd put out, like a little square mirror, about a foot long and 6 inches across. And if I put it through the bars, I could actually see onto Wormwood Scrubs itself. And especially in the summer, when it gets very warm and you're in a cell, like I was, you'd look out, you'd hear kids, you'd hear dogs barking. Especially Saturday afternoons. Saturdays and Sundays in prisons are different to every other day of the week because of high activity. But as the weekend rolls on, things quieten down a bit and you're very aware. I mean, for example, at the back of Wormwood Scrubs, you've got Queen's Park Rangers Football Club. And if they're playing a home game, you can hear the crowd. You could actually think that there, a few yards away, was the actual game taking place. You're in there listening to it in a dungeon. It just seemed unreal. Some people come out bitter, I understand that. I come out bitter. But then again, I levelled off. I went through a bad phase about a year after being released, a very bad phase. All of a sudden it all caught up with me. You feel like you don't belong no more. You don't belong in, it's another world. You're trying to adapt to it. And it's very, very hard. Too much of my life had gone. There where I live, there's a little park and it backs onto the cells of a court. And it's interesting because I find myself sometimes wandering by there. And I see the coaches coming all the time. And it brings back a lot of memories to it because I know what's going through their minds. I feel for them people. And it's like looking in the mirror, the sadness of it all. We all try to smile and show a bit of bravery, but really I suppose it's a bit false. And you think to yourself, well, I don't ever want to wind up in one of them places again. I can't afford to wind up in one of them places again.